This is a Shock podcast.
Shock. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to The Art of Beauty. I'm your host, Yasmin, and here at The Art of Beauty, we're talking about all things beauty. The industry, body positivity, confidence, the hottest new releases, and more. I'm super excited to delve deeper into the extensive world that is beauty with you in each episode. Just a bit of housekeeping before we begin. I know it's been a while. Hi, hope everyone's doing well. Honestly, the burnout is so real. And if you're feeling that too, then I'm totally with you. It's that time of the year, I guess. We're entering August, and I find that there are two kinds of people in this world. You're either celebrating the fact that we're honestly more than halfway through the year because things have felt kind of slow for you, or you're just like, wait, we're already in August? I'm obviously the latter. Even 24 hours a day isn't quite enough for me. I could honestly use an extra 2 or 3 hours. Anyway, I digress, but on to today's episode. We're going to be talking about my skincare best friend, SPF, sunscreen, sunblock, whatever you want to call it. If it's not your best friend already, then what are you doing? Acquaint yourself with it ASAP, please, and thank you. We're going to be chit-chatting about why it's so important and a few recommendations I have for you if you're a fusspot like I am regarding which sunscreens you should be using. I think everyone listening knows the basic lowdown on sunscreen, but I'm going to run through it really quickly if you don't already know. So sunscreen, or sunblock as some people call it, is literally as the name implies. It is used as a way to protect your skin from the harmful effects of the sun. On the sciencey side of things, don't worry, we're going to get through this super quickly as well. Sunscreens work by reflecting, absorbing, and scattering both ultraviolet A and B radiation to protect against both types of radiation. UVA rays penetrate deeper and cause wrinkles, dark spots, and premature aging. And on the other hand, UVB rays cause sunburns and tanning. So if you think about how tanning beds work, sun lamps and tanning equipment emit rays of ultraviolet radiation. There are two different kinds of sunscreens that you should be aware of: the chemical ones and the physical ones. Physical sunscreens contain only zinc oxide and titanium oxide. Because it sits on the skin and deflects the sun's rays, some people refer to it as a sunblock. Physical sunscreens are most often recommended for sensitive skin, but unfortunately, you have a white cast to worry about. Chemical sunscreens work differently. Like a sponge, it absorbs the sun's rays so they won't penetrate the skin. If you have used both types of sunscreens, you probably notice that chemical sunscreens are easier to rub into the skin. They also leave no white residue, and because of that, I personally prefer using chemical sunscreens. Yeah, I'm not the tannest person ever, but I don't want to risk using sunscreens that might leave me with a white cast because I don't want to have like a flashback Mary situation, so that's just my preference. Now, onto what SPF and PA are. SPF stands for Sun Protection Factor, which means the number attached to it represents the level of sun protection provided against harmful UVB rays. So that's why you hear about sunscreens having SPF 15, SPF 30, etc., etc. SPF 15 blocks approximately 93% of the harmful UV rays. SPF 30 blocks 97%, and SPF 50, which is the stuff I go for, blocks 98%. Most experts will recommend an SPF of 30 or higher if you spend a lot of time in direct sunlight, but I personally just like to go all the way and just do the whole SPF 50, because why not? Meanwhile, PA, protection grade of UVA rays, indicates the level of UVA protection. Duh. So PA refers to those plus thingies that you see on the bottle. So more plus signs after the PA mean a higher level of protection. Sunscreen with a PA level of at least 3 pluses is recommended to prevent premature aging and skin cancer. Also, for any of you wondering, you can't combine two sunscreens with different SPFs or PAs and assume you'll get a higher combination. So just because you mix a sunscreen with SPF 30 and one with SPF 50, it doesn't mean that you essentially wear SPF 80 sunscreen. It doesn't work like that. So just stick with your SPF 30 or your SPF 50 like I do, and just wear that. I think we all love a bit of sun on us every once in a while, getting a tan and some of that vitamin D, but unfortunately, it does a lot more damage to our skin than it appears to. As you all might know, sunscreen helps prevent skin cancers, namely basal cell skin cancer, squamous cell skin cancer, oh my god, these words, and melanoma. UV radiation is a top risk factor causing these UV skin cancers. Sunscreen also prevents premature aging. UV radiation causes the premature breakdown of collagen and elastin in the skin, resulting in fine lines and wrinkles. The sun's ultraviolet radiation is responsible for an estimated 90% of visible signs of aging. And thirdly, sunscreen reduces the risk of hyperpigmentation, which means that my acne scars aren't gonna get darker or fade slower if I wear my sunscreen regularly. Lastly, sunscreen also prevents sun sensitivity. They're beneficial for people with sun-sensitive conditions such as lupus and rosacea, where exposure to UV rays can lead to redness and burning in the skin and the overall severity of these conditions. It's possible to be allergic to sunscreen. However, most of these allergies are reactions to specific sunscreen ingredients. Allergy to the ingredient oxybenzone accounts for 70% of all sunscreen allergies, while others may be allergies to fragrances or preservatives in the sunscreen product that you're using. So make sure you check out for those. Now, on to some recommendations of my favorite sunscreens, and let me tell you, I've tried a few in my lifetime because my skin isn't a fan of sunscreens, but we gotta do what we gotta do, you know? We gotta make it work. Okay. My current favorite is a chemical sunscreen called Beauty of Joseon. It's the Relief Sunrise and Probiotics, and it's got an SPF of 50 plus and PA++++. So that's 4 pluses. I can't sing enough praises about this, honestly, especially after the whole, scandal last year when we found out that a lot of our favorite Korean sunscreens were taken off the shelves after being independently tested to show that their SPFs were a lot lower than they were advertised to be. So make sure to read up on that if you haven't already. It was quite the scandal, but I'm super pleased with this one. It doesn't have a white cast and it provides me with just the right amount of hydration. And I've also found that my sensitive, acne-prone skin loves it. So I'm gonna keep using it, If you want something that's even thinner and extra lightweight and mattifies super quickly, I would recommend the HelioCare 360 Gel Oil-Free SPF 50. Oh god, that was a long one. Again, no white cast on this one either because it's a chemical sunscreen and it was perfect for when my skin was a bit oilier. We're having a dry spell at the moment, so that's why the Beauty of Joseon one is godsend. I also liked the Revectin Aqua Soothing UV Protector SPF 50 with PA+++++. So that's 4 pluses. But it had a bit of a white cast because it's a mineral sunscreen, so I personally wouldn't wear this on its own. It's fine under some makeup. And another one I've been meaning to try is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. So hopefully I'll get around to that at some point. Lab Muffin Beauty recommends great affordable sunscreens from the drugstore, like the Biore UV Aqua Rich Watery Essence, which is also on my radar, and the Neutrogena Sheer Zinc Mineral Sunscreen Stick. I can't with these names, guys. They're so long. So honestly, if my words are all over the place and you feel like my pronunciation's all over the place, then you know why. Anyway, my best tip when choosing a sunscreen is that the best sunscreen for you is the one you're gonna use on the regular. Otherwise, what's the point? So here are some parting tips from me to you. Number 1, up to 80% of the sun's rays can pass through clouds. So if you assume it's okay to forego protection on an overcast day, think again. I probably am not the best when applying sunscreen on my whole body regularly. I'll put my hands up to that, but you'll never catch me slipping when it comes to applying sunscreen on my face and my neck and all that. Secondly, make sure you stick to broad spectrum sunscreens. So look for that in your sunscreens. Broad spectrum sunscreens protect against both UVA and UVB rays. And if it doesn't say broad spectrum on your bottle of sunscreen, then it may not be protecting you from UVA rays. Thirdly, remember, sunscreen should be applied every 2 hours, every day, regardless of whether or not you will be spending most of your time inside or out. One of my favorite dermatologist YouTubers, Dr. Shireen Idris, recommended using the Supergoop Resetting 100% Mineral Powder Broad Spectrum Sunscreen SPF 35 PA+++. And it's just a mineral powder that you can dust over your face as a reapplication, right on top of your makeup if you're wearing any. It's not a good enough substitute for your regular, sunscreen lotions, but it'll do. Fourthly, you can also pair your sunscreen with a topical vitamin C serum, which can help combat exposure to free radicals and ultraviolet light and brighten your complexion. 2 in 1. We love that. And lastly, I usually apply my SPF on top of a really light moisturizer, or sometimes if my skin's a tad bit too oily, or if I know I'm going to be wearing a mask for like a really long time, I just skip the moisturizer completely. And then my makeup goes on top of the sunscreen. There's nothing wrong per se with makeup containing sunscreen. However, most cosmetics listing sunscreen in their ingredients contain like really low amounts. So again, it's not good enough to just forego your sunscreen altogether. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. If anything at all, I hope that your biggest takeaway is to use sunscreen on the regular. It's essential. I really can't stress that enough for all the reasons I've mentioned previously. And like I said, the best sunscreen for you is the one you'll use regularly. I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye!